Hello and welcome to a Cheltenham Festival preview post video, I guess. Basically, it's the time of year now where I'm getting my sort of betting portfolio in order, looking at the races and to see which ones I might need to bolster in, what my opinion is, and how better to do that than to speak with Daryl Carter. Brilliant. But then Matt jumped in and Jamie's jumped in as well. I think he got the invite accidentally, but he's in anyway. So we've got four of us that are going to be going through the races. So I'm aware that we waffle, well, I waffle. So I'll try and keep it as condensed as I can. This first video will be talking about the Supreme Novices hurdle. We'll do a separate video for all the races, bar the non-handicaps and the crappy cross-country. And then hopefully we'll be mentioning what we're thinking in terms of our stance point of what should be winning, what might be worth backing now. And yeah, hopefully we'll be covering them all off. So without further ado, we'll kick on with the Supreme. From my stance point, I thought Appreciate was an Albert Bartlett horse at the beginning of the season. He's mugged me right off, and he deserves to be fab for the race. It looks piss poor, doesn't it, for want of a better word? So, Matt, I'm going to let you go first and excite me about the Supreme.
It's difficult, mate, outside of Appreciate for me, mate. He looked really good, didn't he? Surprised me. Surprised Willie Mullins. I suppose the fact he's a 7-year-old is the big issue, isn't it? That's the big question mark with him, with the poor record of 7-year-olds. But yeah, you can't argue with what he did. But behind Appreciate It, there's nothing really. I was keen on Deuce out one now before, but he's going to miss likely miss the festival. Ballyadam, I probably would give another go to. With the I know you don't like him, Dino, but the way Elliot's horses were running over the festive period, if he can improve his jumping, that you've got to look for things that have got a chance to improve, haven't you? And something you can see an improvement in. So if he can improve his jumping, better ground, Elliot's horses weren't in form, and I think he scoped dirty afterward, didn't he? So I'd give him another chance, but you maybe clutching at straws a little bit for him to turn the form around and Appreciate It. And after that, mate, I'm really struggling for one. There was I mentioned to you Magic Tricks the other day. I texted you the other day about him. Glordathon run today, didn't he? And I was hoping he was going to back up the form, but he ran poorly, and so I'm really clutching at straws, mate, for anything behind Appreciate now, to be honest with you. Nice.
Well, that's good because that makes me feel fairly similar. Daryl, we obviously had the Tolworth this weekend, didn't we? Meteor, like, mate, you're in a thankless task. I won't mention this in every single video, but trying to look for value for people, trying to give people things to back, and then you get something like Meteor comes in, which you know was the one to back. And then you end, because of these without markers, all that sort of stuff, you end up looking away from him from a betting proposition. But you knew he was going to bolt up in the Tolworth. Do you think he's good enough to win a Supreme?
I don't know if he's good enough to win a Supreme, but he's definitely there on ratings. For me, he's definitely a 150 horse, and that's where you need to be winning this race. I did a lot of time comparisons. He was 19 lengths faster overall in the circuit time than Friend or Foe, who was second in the handicap, who was rated 141, and he was 13 lengths faster, 3 out to the finish. I did go back and I did look at other Tolworth winners and compare the times. He basically ran the same time as York Hill did when he won it, the Tolworth, back in 2016 on similar ground conditions, but was quicker, 3 out to the finish. He's definitely a smart horse. There's no doubt about that. They're talking about going to the Betfair with him. That would be a slight concern for me. As we all know, Betfair hurdle horses, they're not Supreme horses. Or they go very close, but they won't win a Supreme. So that's a slight concern. That was his first thought, or his first comment straight after the race, was hopefully he'll get in the Betfair, get a nice mark for the Betfair. I don't know where he's getting that from. He should be getting a mark around 149, between 149 and 152 for me. That might force their hand. They might have to miss that engagement and come here. The slight concern I've got with Meteor is he's got slight grabby action at the floor. And a lot of these Tolworth winners have been stayers, especially in dire conditions. They've been better over further. And I'm just wondering if he's just a real galloper. The likes of Gallus McCarlow was well fancied in the race. And I did her time figure. And she ran up to what a lot of people are saying she didn't run up to her mark. Well, she did, because she got to 3 out about 3 seconds quicker than she did when she ran in the handicap behind Benson. And she ran the same time from 3 out to 2 out and then just faded. So she's obviously run up to her rating. She hasn't just bombed out. So, the level of form in there and the winning distance and the times all suggest he's a 150 horse. So he's got a rightful place in the market. This is a whole different ball game normally. I say normally because I don't think this race, obviously, this year is as deep as we've seen for a long time, really. I don't really remember there being a time when there's been a 5-2 fab and then not 8 or 9-1 bar the field at this time in January. For me, Appreciate It, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not entirely convinced about what he's beaten. I'm not entirely convinced he's beaten a whole lot. And, you know, he's won the future novice champion. That's normally a decent race, but it's produced no winners of the Supreme Novice in the last 10 years. He's a 7-year-old. We know 7-year-olds struggle. Every man and their dog fancy Appreciate It, which is obviously slight concern anyway. Yeah. And if you go back to that champion bumper, like third time lucky's only got 3 lengths to find with him on that bumper form, right? I did the 2 circuit times of that bumper. Third time lucky ran a fraction faster in the final circuit than Appreciate It did. Now, Appreciate It might well be a different horse come this year. He might be a bit stronger, a bit fitter, a bit mentally more strong. But third time lucky's done nothing wrong for me, really. He's 20-1 in here. Appreciate It's 5-2. There's not much between them, I don't think. And I think it's a wide open year. But then again, I come to this and then I'm thinking to myself, look, I'm looking at a bloody Dan Skelton horse for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. You know, it's one of those. I've not made a decision on this race yet. To be honest with you, I'm nowhere near it. I do want to oppose Appreciate It simply on the fact that he's a 7-year-old and the fact that everybody else fancies him. It's never that easy. There must be something else in here for me. So I'm going to keep looking, Dave. But at the moment, I think the value's third time lucky at 20-1.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's the thing with it, innit? You just go through the few horses that are in there. Matt put up Dusart and our anti-up thing. Dusart's no longer with us. Well, he is, but you know what I mean, not this season. I put up Fernie Hollow, gutted that he's going to miss it. It just shows the dynamic of how the Supreme could have looked quite good. Now it's not so good. I'm not that keen on Ballyadam and obviously Appreciate It spanked him. So I think Ballyadam's probably about the rightish price. Appreciate It's definitely too short now. That's the thing. When you get a bit further down, you look at my Drogo that's probably going to skip Cheltenham, Boot Hill that's got a continuing leg problem that's he's constantly medicated for. I mean, could be like an okay-ish one, but there's nothing really at the big prices you could make a strong case for until Jamie comes in with an absolute curveball from nowhere. Boom! Where is it, Jamie?
It's trained by Willie Mullins, Dave, and it's called. All depends if she goes for the Mayor's Novice, but she wears it well. Now, I heard she's back in training and she's ready to go. And hopefully it'll be the Dublin Racing Festival. And Willie Mullins seems to fancy her to take her on in the Supreme. So I think that's the value at the moment. But to be honest with you, I'm on Appreciate for the wrong race. I'm on the 14th for the Ballymore. Hopefully this She's Wears It Well comes along and blows everything out of the park when it runs again. Or it might take the soft option for the Mayor's Novice. Who knows? But 25-1, she looks the value at the moment. I would agree with Matt. I wouldn't give up on Ballyadam yet because there was a wrong ground the last day. And Gordon Elliott always says he needs good ground. Now, you're going to get it first day of the festival? Who knows? But at the moment, my play would be She Wears It Well. But I still think, I'm like you, Dave. I backed Fernie Hollow as well for the Supreme, and that was sick. So I think Appreciate It could be, I agree with the 7-year-old thing. This could be an afterthought after how good he was the last day over 2 miles. I still prefer him in a 2.5 mile race.
Yeah. James, James, is this Gallard Dumensil for Mullins? Is he definitely going to go to Ballymore, is he?
I think he will too. I really fancy him for the Ballymore. It either or, Darren. Would you prefer your Supreme horseman in a 2.5 mile maiden than a 2 mile maiden? Do you know what I mean? He's only won a maiden.
Yeah, I know. But the way he travelled through that race at Leopardstown,
it's a powerful horse, isn't he?
He'd have no problem dropping back to 2 miles.
The biggest problem I have is that are you going to trust that Holy Macapony just blew out the last day in Navan and Holy Macapony beat it by 8 lengths? Do you know what I mean? Like Holy Macapony is, I presume he's a Bartlett horse. Like there's a grade 3, I think is what's it called, the Mercedes-Benz Novice Hurdle at Clonmel in January or February or something like that. You normally kind of see your Bartlett horse there from Ireland, or at the 2 mile 6 race at the Dublin Racing Festival. Like the Bartlett for me, I forget about it. I hate that race now. But
what I would just say though is he looked in desperate need of the run that day. He was only big.
He did. So it's either or, Darren. Is he going to put Gallard and Menil in the Supreme? But see, he has what? Kilcruit and Ramillies. Like last year, if you remember, Ashtier and Flans didn't run in a maiden hurdle till next week, wasn't it? January, when he ran the same day as MY Allen. Then he ran the Dublin Racing Festival, and then he went on to the Supreme. So if Willie Mullins doesn't think he has a Supreme horse, will you just put one of them, Kilcruit or Ramillies, into maiden hurdle, and then run him in the Dublin Racing Festival? Because I think he's number one was Fernie Hollow. Now Appreciate is always slipped into there instead of Fernie Hollow. So, like, if Fernie Hollow was still going, it'd be Fernie Hollow Supreme, Appreciate it, Ballymore, and then whatever he has then rest for the Bartlett. So that's the problem with the Supreme at the moment, is that does Willie Mullins know his best horse? Well, he thinks it's Appreciated. I think he'll win if he turns up there, because there's a little bit of give in the ground always on the first day. And I think he's just a powerful horse. He'll travel well, but will someone pick him up for speed? Who knows?
I guess we're going to have to wait to find out, aren't we? It's interesting you say about the bumper thing, because I was thinking the same as well. But Kilcruit's owned by the same guys as Appreciate, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Ramillies
is the same as Gellard's Mini.
And I think with Ramillies, he's already targeting the Grade 2 bumper at the Dublin Racing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like we could be looking a gift horse in the mouth here and just thinking we're just trying to make excuses to not be on Appreciate because he's not a sexy price. But I'm struggling to have any confidence on anything away from him winning it, even though, like I say, I fancied him as a Bartlett horse. We all know the 7-year-old thing, and we all know that horses that don't win the champion bumper typically don't go on to win the Supreme. I think one might have done it over the years.
How many that have actually run in the champion bumper have won the Supreme though? It's not many at all.
Champagne Fever.
Yeah, that won it.
Oh.
There's only been a handful that have won the bumper and then won the Supreme, like less than a handful. And I think there's been one that got beat in the bumper that came in there. But like the long and the short is there's not that many. You get plenty that run in the bumper that try the Supreme the next year just because it's the obvious thing. But
do you not think this is more the case of that because it's so weak, you just sort of flock to the favourite and then hope that it gets over the line? Because I've got a theory that I don't think Appreciate is that fast. Going on that bumper time last year, I don't think he's that quick, and I think something might pick him up coming up that hill. I just feel like he's sort of a default favourite for me. I can't really warm to him. And if you look back at the type of horses that have won this race in the past, like Altior went on 4-1. Like Duvan was 2-1. You know, the way the prices are going, I Appreciate at the moment, like 12-5. He could go off shorter than that for a Supreme Novice. Appreciate it. Like, you know, I think if you put it into context over the years, it's absolutely crazy. She's given off 6-1 last year. I
know it is balmy, and I've touched on it beforehand, which I've said millions of times to you guys. Valtor, the price that he went off is absurd, isn't it? And he was still a big price. Before this sort of time we were talking, he was still a big price for the race. I think more than anything, it just confirms, doesn't it, guys, that we all probably like looking at Appreciate in terms of price. We probably want to try and take him on with something, but none of us know how to take him on with. And the more we look at it, the less we can find, the more it just makes you come back to Appreciate, which is probably why he is as short as he is. So for the first video that we've done, we've been really helpful to everyone, haven't we? But I think it's important to remind people that people would have bet anti-post by now. So there might be some people that took the flyer on Appreciate it. 14s he was before he won that future champion novice hurdle. So fair play, got it at a reasonable price. With the cash out option talk about, you could potentially cash out if it didn't quite work out. He won at 7-4 though, and he went down to about like 4-1 after. So relative, if you wanted to roll up, works. Same with Meteor. He was 25s before the race. Again, you could have backed him. And he scored up, but again, relative wise, went off at 7-4, was available at 9s and 10s after, so you could have rolled him up. I feel like if you were sat on an Appreciate ticket for any race at the start of the season, you'd probably be laughing the fact that he's now fav for a Supreme, but not laughing.
How do you feel, Dave, about the age thing? Because I know you're quite big on age stats, particularly at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, I don't like the Ballymore. I hate it in because like good 7-year-olds go in there and get beat. Like, I hate it in that race. I've got less of a problem with it in the Supreme, and I've got less of a problem with it in the Supreme this year, and with Willie Mullins, because he's a beast, isn't he? But I still do just think that if Fernie Hollow or Dusart was still in the reckoning, I couldn't have Appreciate it at all. Like, I feel like that they would be so much better than him. This year, it depends what the ground comes up like as well, doesn't it? But the year that Somerville Boy won it, it looked a pretty substandard Supreme, and it ended up working out like that, I think. So potentially, if like this year could just be a substandard one. But I think Appreciate like probably is the class horse now. I don't think the age thing worries me enough to take him on. Just on that.
Okay.
Excellent. So I'm going to wrap up Supreme Novices Hurdle, and then we'll move on to the Arkle next.